OFM Sport.
With us in studio this afternoon, we've got an absolute legend and icon of South African football, none other than the former Bafana Bafana midfielder, Dr. Khumalo. Welcome to Bloemfontein. Huge occasion, and I'm sure you're looking forward to this one.
Thank you very much for hosting and having me here. I must say this is a big one for the boys and the country, because we actually hoping that everything goes well in order for us to qualify for the World Cup that will be in USA, Mexico and Canada. So it's a big one for the boys, and I just hope and wish that the Suwelele loving people will come and support the boys.
And we almost couldn't script this one better. Nigeria, Bafana, Nigeria. That is almost like England versus Germany if you have to take it to a European context. There's a lot up for grabs. We've got the number on Nigeria at the moment, but they're going to be desperate.
They're desperate for the fact that they're still insisting in terms of FIFA need to take action against Bafana for fielding an illegible player in Mokoena. It's in our group, it's Benin and Nigeria. So they want South Africa to be knocked out 3 points. But then again, what you just said, it actually reminded me of something that terrible happened to us when we played them in Nigeria for the first time. I must say, it was, I think, in '94. We were just novices. We thought we were well beaters, but we went to Nigeria. It was not a conducive trip. No reception. I think everything started then. And I didn't play against them the first game. I had an injury, but I flew with the boys to Nigeria, only to find that I aggravated the hamstring. So it was an internal bleeding. And I watched the boys, they thrashed us 4-0 in Nigeria. And then that's when now everything started, the rivalry, But the beauty about the whole thing is that with the former legends, we still have a WhatsApp group, we chat with them and all that. And they strongly believe that in 1996, we were crowned champions of Africa, but it's because they were not there. So they strongly believe that if they were there, we wouldn't have been crowned the 96 champions. And I said to them, in 96, you would have brought Brazil, Germany, England. We were going to destroy them because we were flying. So that rivalry between South Africa and Nigeria, it's there. It won't go away. But the beautiful thing about it, they're no longer the same. Nigeria that I thought, the powerhouse of Africa. And we saw when our boys played there away, they drew and they're struggling. I mean, they just won 1-0 at home, against Rwanda. And I must say, they're one of the countries that have 100% of European players that are based in Europe. And we have players that are only probably 40% Europe and outside the country, and then 60% is South African.
And if we look at these European countries where the Super Eagles do play, it's the Englands, the Germanys. Whereas us, by contrast, we've got Foster who plays in England, but the rest are Romania and all these, and you want to call them obscure countries, but lesser.
And they're also Saudi Arabia. So the only player that is playing probably in a more competitive league is Foster. I mean, he just played against Man United. You can imagine. So, excuse me. But then we can't take it away or shy away from the fact that our boys have matured and they have experience thanks to the participation in the AFCON. Not AFCON, Champions League, the one that we play. I think Paris played last year and Sundowns. And then Stelis were in the confederations. So we're not that bad, So our boys, they have the capacity in terms of competing against Nigeria.
You mentioned matured now, and Lyle Foster is definitely one of those players that's also matured tremendously. How good didn't he look the other night against Mokoena? He was creating work for himself and putting players into space and was well rewarded at that goal.
Definitely. I like what the coach did against Mokoena. He juggled the team a little bit. He brought in 2 or 3 new players, and then Kota managed to get a goal. Mbule played in the middle. and he reserved some of the boys. When I watched Nigeria against Rwanda, they did the same thing. Most of their players, Oswin wasn't playing. But then I'm looking at, I hope probably this is exactly what he thinks, what I'm thinking. Because my former coach, may his soul rest in peace, Clive Parker, used to say, an elephant cannot turn. So they're big. So if you utilize and make sure that our DNA in terms of skill, we utilize it very professionally and positive, we'll have an edge. They might be big physically, but speed and skill, this is where now they're struggling. Yeah.
And we doing well with that.
We're
If you
doing
look
well,
at Oswin
definitely.
Appollis, a shining example. How good hasn't he become over the last year or two?
Yeah. I mean, you can imagine how many teams fought for him, for his signature when he was still at Polokwane City. And he was playing for Polokwane City, but what a player he is. And look at the maturity. Also, if I were to dive into the coaching phase, I'm looking at how many seconds do we take to get into the opponent's final third. I was counting against Mokoena. Out of 10, they took, I think it was 5-6 seconds. Whereas before, it would be longer than that because we were just keeping position but not hurting our opponents. So today the game has evolved, and this was introduced by Arsene Wenger because he wanted speedy players that will take 6 seconds to be in the opponent's half, or if not in the box. And this is exactly what the kind of players we have here. So the speed, we cannot afford to play a comfortable football that would suit Nigeria. We need to head them where they are weaker. And I know with speed, they will never catch with us. Technique and also the skill they want.
Another important player for this game. There was a lot of white noise about him last week. And what pleased me about Bafana was seeing that attitude that they showed. It's like, you in South Africa now, we're going to do this on our terms, and we will feel Teboho Mokoena. How important is Mokoena going to be for this game?
I wouldn't even imagine that squad without him. He's the engine of the squad, I must say. He's very brilliant. He takes in the middle, and it's very rare to find that kind of a player. He's a very important puzzle in our team. We really, have to grind and look at the replacements because Mokoena, Teboho, he's unbelievable. There's no Bafana without him. This is that's my opinion. So I strongly believe he's a very, very, very important player in the squad.
And he's also a good team man.
Yeah.
If you listen to it, just the way the man laughs. And
Yeah.
essential for a team to have a character like that.
Yeah, he's a very humble young man. I've spoken, I've seen him so many times. Very humble young man, and he loves this game. There's so much one can say about him. But also the beauty about the whole thing is that he doesn't complicate things on the field. There are those guys that will play the game and we appreciate it, but now you look at the other side, they're getting yellow cards, red cards because of rough play. And that doesn't make you to be a good player. But Teboho is nowhere fetched to be that kind of a player.
And that's actually something that we did well against Mokoena the other night was we saw them going out there gunning. They wanted to prove something.
Yeah.
Quite aggressive player, which I don't have a problem with at all because I grew up watching guys like Vinnie Jones and they play for Wimbledon.
Yeah.
But the guys didn't get trapped into that kind of mindset and they just played what they needed to do.
Yeah, definitely. Remember, the Mokoena, they have a score to settle with us after we beat them in Polokwane. But also history-wise, they really want to get a win against us. A very tricky team that we played actually. In Polokwane compared to the one that we played here. When I analyze the performance of Mokoena, they were very strong in Polokwane. Here, I don't know what happened to the players. I don't think they were focused or they gave that 100% performance. But having said that, it's not an easy team to play against. They're very tricky. And they know us better than us knowing them better. Because remember, we on more on television and we are more exposed. So it's easy for them to plan for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now we look at the mere fact that South Africa versus Nigeria is being played in Bloemfontein of all places. A little bit more than a year ago.
Yeah.
Before Zimbabwe came here, if someone said South Africa, Nigeria, Bloemfontein, everyone said no.
Yeah.
This is not going to happen. But there's a reason.
Yeah.
If we had it in Joburg or Durban, half of Hillbrow would probably be at the stadium. So how important is the Siwelele faithful going to be tomorrow night for South Africa?
I should give credit to Safa, and you're right. You're correct by saying, had we played in Durban or Cape Town or FNB Stadium, actually FNB Stadium, I don't think South African would have got to buy the tickets, because those guys, they will buy all the tickets. But bringing the game here also, it's a mind game. I know they flew in, because what they did to us when we were there, we flew, I forgot the name of the airport, but the boys had to drive more than like 40 to 50 kilometers away from Lagos. And one thing that I like about South Africa is that you might treat them bad, but you don't give a 5-star treatment when you come to them. Because remember, you don't have to be bad as your enemy. You make your enemy to learn from you. So when they arrived there, I looked at the clips and everything. I'm like, oh, so they have the supporters that came there. Believe it or not, whether we're here or we could have gone to play in Velcom or wherever, Nigerians will always be there. Because they have the capacity of making sure that they'll come and support their country. These guys, they take this game, it's like a religion to them. Football, have you ever heard of any rugby, cricket in Nigeria? No. The only existing sport is soccer. And they have more than 2,000 soccer players playing outside Nigeria. So let's not be tricked by the fact that we brought it here. Tomorrow morning, those cars, those buses, that freeway will be chock-blocked by Nigerians coming here. But what I want to see, and I would like to believe that cannot jeopardize the atmosphere of the game, let the game be the winner. Supporters, no fighting, nothing. Because we have seen when Sundowns played a team from Morocco, they fought against South Africans. And again at Orlando, Pirates was playing against Pyramids. They fought. The supporters fought. So we don't want to see those. So let's embrace the game and be one people in terms of the continent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
South Africa is on the brink of getting back to the World Cup for the first time in 16 years. We can actually go back further if we don't look at the automatic qualification. It's been a long time.
Yes.
How desperate will the team be for this one?
I would like to believe that they are desperate, because for 45% of the players, this is their only hope and last opportunity for them to qualify. Because I don't think it will be available in the next 4 years when we play the qualifiers. So the chunk of the boys, this is the only time for them to make sure that they go to the World Cup. So that on its own, because if you're looking at the squad, it's 50-50, it's youth and experience. And the likes of Mokoena, Ronwin, Tembazwane, the list is endless. So this is probably their last chance to make sure that we qualify. But besides that, as a country, South Africa is a nation that believes in winning. We've seen that with cricket, we've seen that with rugby. And thanks, the people went back to support the boys. And we just have to do it, because when we do these things, and I'll quote my former president when he came to address us before we played France in 1998. He said, guys, you're not representing your families, you're representing the country. Make sure that we unite the country through sport. And rugby has done that. Not alone. Cricketers have done it. I mean, even athletics, Zimbabwe and them, we're doing well. Our under-20 just won the AFCON. So now when we do well in terms of sports, this is when the country unites. Now, if I were to tell you, 5 years ago, when rugby or boxers playing, 90% is white. But today, you can't even say it's white or whatever, but it's South Africans.
Yeah.
So through sports, we bring everybody together. And remember that this is the only getaway for us, because there's no the unemployment is very strong on us. There's so many factors that we should look at. So when we go to sports, we forget about this negative stuff, and we unite as a country. So this is very important for us to support Bafana, for them also to be in the World Cup, because rugby have raised the flag and they said, we're protecting this flag. Everybody who's playing Springboks, they bring their A game. You saw it the last weekend when they played New Zealand, brought their A game. Australia, same thing. So we need to see that happening with Bafana to balance this game. So it is very, very important for us to participate in this kind of tournaments.
And second last thing, also does help if you've got a coach that believes in his players and equally the players believing in what he's instilled into the team.
With Hugo, when he started, I would like to believe that he wasn't too sure what South Africa is all about. And his selection and his philosophy, the way he selected the players, I don't think he knew exactly what we're all about. But now I can tell you, we did a good thing not to part ways with him, because he understands the kind of players that he wants.
And that was close, that tweet.
I know, that was close. And remember, he had offers outside South Africa. And here he is. He says, no, after the World Cup, then I'll say thank you to South Africa. But do we have a succession plan when he's gone? Because this man, he has shaped Bafana. We back into our winning ways because of him. So the last time the country was happy, it was when I was still playing, 1996, 98. So he's doing very well. So he knows the kind of players. He knows what kind of a player that I want in that respective position. And the beauty also is that he likes to keep the core of the players. He doesn't chop and change that much. It's only one or two positions, and that's it.
And he also has a plan with that.
Yeah.
Like we saw Moby getting injured.
Yes.
He immediately knows who's coming back in the next day.
He robbed in Mokoena.
Yeah.
So I looked at his preliminary list, and that was 43 players. And I was like, wow, okay. So Moby got injured, then Mokoena in. Masongai got injured, Mbule in. So clearly, he didn't have to struggle. He knew exactly, if anything happens here, this is what I'm going to do. So that coach tells you that he knows and he understands these kind of players that he wants.
And finally, out of the words of Dr. Khumalo,
Yeah.
what is going to happen tomorrow night here in Bloemfontein?
What is going to happen tomorrow night, based on my experience and looking at our team vis-a-vis Nigeria, I would like to believe these boys, they're going to spring a surprise. A very, very, very serious and hurtful surprise. Because they strongly believe that no country will beat them. Because they have big boys, big animals that will go out there and fight. But looking at our boys, no, Nigeria will have to dig deep. Because you're going to be facing not a Bafana Bafana that is scared of them or what. I think the boys, they're looking forward to play against them. And that's a reason why they gave that 5-star performance against Mokoena. And they really want to be part of the national team. No player doesn't want to be part of the national team because now they're in the winning ways. So tomorrow, it's going to be a big surprise. Watch that space.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Dr. Khumalo, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here in the studio.
Thank you, sir.
And let's get excited about tomorrow night and let's hope all the fans come out.
Thank you. Thank you.